Hello everyone, Nathan here, and welcome to a State of the Channels video. I say channels because even though it's under the same name, I have multiple different channels across multiple different sites. So to say, State of the Channel isn't exactly accurate. So this is kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing. I wasn't really planning on doing this, but I'm doing it for two reasons. I saw another guy do a video very similar to this, and we'll get to him in a moment. And so I thought, that's kind of a good idea. Maybe I should do something like that. And the other reason I kind of want to do it is because I don't know if I ever really have done a video like this. And what I mean by that is I want to talk about like my channel in general and my thoughts and kind of my plans moving forward. And even throwing out some ideas to you guys and maybe asking for a little bit of feedback on a couple of things. And then besides all that, I'd also like to talk a little bit about the state of alttech and as well as a bit about game development as well. So about the other guy who made that video, I would like to give a shout out to the creepy night shift guy who had given me a shout out in his video. He's a fun YouTuber that and also on bitchute as well that I've enjoyed following for quite some time, and he does fun videos of him doing let's plays, and he features his wife in a lot of the videos, and the banter between the two of them is pretty great. And so I think him and I have almost identical motivation for making these videos that we make. And really it comes down to, hey, this is something that's fun to do, and I'm going to record it. And if somebody else happens to enjoy that, and I'm going to steal his analogy here for just a moment because it's a really nice one. If somebody else happens to enjoy that, then that's icing on the cake. And it turns out that there's more icing than we thought. And so that's really nice. So yeah, I'm really flattered by the shout out that he gave in his video. Like when he was kind of leading up to it, and he was just like, I just want to give somebody a shout out here, by the way. And there was just a very fleeting thought that was just like, well, there's no way my name's going to be attached to that. Why would he do that? Why would he say my name? Get that into your head, Nathan. He's not going to talk about you. He's not going to do that. And then he did, and it was like, oh wow, so I was really pleased by that. So yeah, you should definitely go give him a follow as well. So yeah, besides talking about his plans in his video, he talked about something in regards to alttech. So I think maybe we'll start with the sort of the alttech things, and then we'll move into me and my channel and stuff. This could be quite a long video. I'm not really sure. So what he was talking about in his video was the fact that he's actually leaving bitchute. And it's sad to see him go. And he said that it wasn't an easy decision for him, and he didn't really want to do it. But there was a particular straw that broke the camel's back. To sum up, the comment section on bitchute, is unfortunately still quite shitty because there's no notifications of any kind. Like even as a creator, if you comment on my videos, I'm only going to see it if I happen to visit that video. So if it was a video recently, I might see it, but if you go comment on an old video, there's no way. There's no way I'll ever see it. And so that's not great. So yeah, the comments need work, and like the other problem is a new one that I wasn't even aware of. Apparently BitChute's upload size is now reduced to 2 gigs. And I mean, depending on what kind of video you make, maybe that's not a problem. And I can't say I've noticed it either, but it could have been a problem. And so okay. Every second day, I upload an older video from my YouTube channel, like something that I posted a long, long time ago. And this is for 2 reasons. This is to kind of help import my library over to the alttech sites, like including bitchute and Odysee and Utreon and everywhere else, and fruitlab. But I also do that to kind of help I guess you could say, stretch out the content, because I actually have a massive backlog of videos I have encoded now. But that is thanks in part to doing that thing every second day where, I'm not posting a brand new video each and every day necessarily, but it's every second day. So, yeah, I hadn't really been keeping track, but I took stock just very recently, and holy shit, do I have a lot of videos stocked up and ready for release. It's kind of staggering. I could almost safely take a break from recording for a while, but anyway, I'm starting to ramble a little bit about that. But here's the thing. That could have been a huge problem for me. I didn't realize how big my videos were, because all my older videos are quite low res. I couldn't record in as good a quality, but I just looked at all my Breath of the Wild videos, and yeah, most of them are over 2 gigs. So if I had to manually upload to BitChute, that means I'd have to encode 2 versions of the video, or I'd have to upload it to YouTube first, download the YouTube one, because to YouTube's credit, it actually is pretty good at compressing the video file size without compromising the quality too much. But I can't go through that. I'm not going to encode every video twice. I'm not going to download every single video that I put out. That's just not going to happen. There is just nothing that's going to cause me to put that kind of effort in. I'm not doing it. But fortunately for me, I kind of have a way around that, because my auto import feature on BitChute works. For the longest time, auto importing from YouTube wasn't working, but I got into Twitter DMs with BitChute, because I have a Twitter account that I have completely abandoned aside from DMs, just because there are certain people or groups that can basically only be contacted through Twitter DMs. I much prefer Discord. As far as that goes, because fuck Twitter. Quite frankly, we'll just say that, fuck Twitter. I don't post tweets. I don't do any of the socials involved with it. It is strictly for DMs and nothing else, and even that's pretty scarce nowadays. But BitChute actually was quite accommodating, and they actually said, yeah, we see that your YouTube channel ID is in there. It should be working. Send off a support ticket on the to the support email, and we'll get back to you. And to their credit, I mean, they got back to me the next day, and immediately auto importing was working. So that was good. I was glad that they got that figured out for me. It's kind of a lifesaver, actually. But yeah, if that feature wasn't working, as much as it would pain me to say it, I think I probably would have made a similar announcement to the creepy night shift guy. I probably would have also been saying, hey, look, I'm on several other sites that don't have this problem. I'm on Odysee, I'm on Utreon, I'm on fruitlab. Come follow me over there. Because I just can't deal with that issue. And so yeah, I'm really, he said that it was not an easy decision for him to make, to leave BitChute, and I can kind of feel that sting too, but I find it also completely understandable at the same time. That's a big straw. That I think that might break my camel's back too, if I'm quite honest. So I think that personally is a huge misstep on BitChute's part, and I hope they do something to resolve that shortly, or up it to 3 gigs or even 5 gigs. I think 5 gigs would. I think 5 gigs is pretty reasonable. 5 gigs is pretty huge. I think that's what fruitlab does. I think fruitlab's limit is 5 gigs. I've never had that problem. Even for the rare occasion, there was one time there was a 2-hour video in my Mass Effect playthrough. But if I download the YouTube version of that, it's less than 5 gigs, and it's pretty rare that. Actually, no, it's not just rare. It's happened one time. That's how rare it is. So yeah, see. Here's the thing: I want BitChute to succeed. I've been on the site for 4 years, and I've been through with them, through thick and thin, and it's it's a site that's got a lot of potential. I would even go as far as saying that the site's existence is important. Because besides being able to provide an alternative for people that want to post videos and stuff, for people to just be able to post an archive or be able to have discussions that you simply cannot have on YouTube, to me the site's important. The site needs to continue to exist. So yeah, I have a vested interest in seeing BitChute succeed and continue. And hell, I was even considering becoming a bronze member soon. That might actually be feasible for me in the not too distant future. But I do actually have my concerns about the future of BitChute and whether or not it's going to succeed and exist long term. Now, let me preface that real quick by saying that there could be things going on in the background. I mean, actually, I know there's things going on in the background that I don't know about. But when I say that I'm uncertain about BitChute's future, maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Maybe they've got plans behind the scenes and they know things are going good and I just have no clue. But like, for example, one of the things that I've noticed is that the funding percentage has been steadily going down. Like, it's, they keep saying, please help support us, and if we meet these funding goals, we'll get to do this and that and the other thing. And the percentage hasn't been going up and down or ebbing and flowing. It's been just going down. Very slowly, mind you. But I just noticed today that it was down to 76%. For a while it was 77, and I feel like that could be a bad sign. And so I guess what I wanted to say just right off the bat is that, since the future of BitChute is potentially unknown, please go follow me on Odysee as well. Even if you don't plan on watching me on Odysee, like even if you just plan on continuing to watch me on BitChute, if that's where you'll watch me, please consider going and subscribing to me on Odysee, so that way if BitChute ever just pulled a vid and said, hey, we're closing up shop, you know where to find me, and you're already subscribed and you can already keep up with me and all that kind of good stuff. I'm also on Utreon and on fruitlab, and I'm also on DTube, which I know some people like. So yeah, I'm on all those sites. But I would say besides BitChute, fruitlab and Odysee are the big ones. And there are some pretty cool stuff coming down the pipeline for Utreon as well that might get me, pretty hyped for that site too. Like, they just came out with live streaming, actually. So in the new year, when I return to live streaming, I'm going to see if I can also simulcast to Utreon as well. So that's pretty cool. Before I move on from talking about BitChute, there's a couple of doses of hopium that I'd like to give you in regards to BitChute. I guess you could say it's still under Rumorville. But I had heard that they were actually getting a huge injection of funding in the near future, and that will open up a lot of opportunities for them to make improvements to the site, I guess. So, yeah, I hope that's true, and I hope that has the positive effect that, it had for Odysee, because Odysee was hugely funded when they first started, which is why they have so many great features when the site is barely been around for 2 years even. So that's the first dose of hopium. The second dose of hopium that I wanted to give in terms of BitChute is, I guess the site isn't particularly well decentralized right now, but there are plans to decentralize it much, much further, and I think even do crypto rewards thing kind of similar to what Odysee is doing, which would be great. And maybe that's what the funding is for, because I think it takes a fair amount of cash to start a cryptocurrency. But yeah, that could be huge. I mean, if that's really coming down the pipeline, that could be a game changer for BitChute. In fact, it actually could even be a means to fund the site, because if it's accumulating cryptocurrency from everybody using it, then that could be a means to fund the project further and have it really self-sustaining and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I hope those things do come down the pipeline for BitChute. But yeah, BitChute. If there's anybody on the BitChute team that happens to watch this, yeah, the 2 gigabyte upload limit. That's a really bad move. Like, that's a really bad move. It's especially if you plan on bringing especially if you plan on bringing HD videos to the site at some point. Like, if people are going to upload an HD, but they can only get to 2 gigs, I mean, that's like between 20 and 30 minutes at 720p, because that's what I upload. So if somebody's uploading at 1080p or 4K, forget about it. There's just no way. There's no way. So I really hope that somebody reverses that decision. I hope that maybe is only a temporary measure in preparation for the changes coming to the site. I hope that's all it is, because, well, I mean, I just watched a fellow BitShooter leave the site, and that stings, really stings. But I don't blame him one bit, though. But yeah, here's my thoughts with my channels going forward. Right now, I think kind of the biggest source of frustration that I have is mainly self-inflicted, because I have, a few different Let's Play series that I've been struggling to either resume or finish, because I don't like to leave a series unfinished, especially if it's a game that I actually do really, really enjoy. The first one that comes to mind is Messenger. Now, I've started putting episodes out for that for quite a while, and there's quite a few episodes that I think it'll kind of sustain itself for a while until I can record more of the Messenger again. But I still haven't, played and recorded the rest of the game yet. That still hasn't happened, and I'm having a hell of a time getting to it. Other ones have gone, pretty good though. Like, for example, Narita Boy. I have all of that series complete. In fact, that series was actually completely finished and edited before episode 1 ever aired. So that would be an example of one that I would say has gone great and is going well. It's going to be a complete series at some point. It's not going to pause. The one thing, though, that I do kind of worry about is, do my channels have too much juggling? Like, before, I had, in the very early days of my channel, I had 0 variety on my channel. Like, literally, my channel was essentially the Master Chief Collection channel. It was like there was like a few episodes of Destiny, because, again, due to the nature of Xbox and the Twitch app, that was the only way I could record at the time. So yeah, I started off doing a bit of Destiny until I realized how much balls that game sucked. It was great until you got to level 20, and then it sucked ass. But yeah, and then so it became almost exclusively Master Chief Collection, starting from beginning to end. So yeah, my channel was suffering from no variety whatsoever. And now I kind of have to wonder if my channels are suffering from a bit too much variety. And I mean, maybe for whoever's watching, maybe you don't find it to be a problem at all. In which case, if you don't, great. But what I've noticed, for example, is that, now I'm juggling so much content in so many different series that, some videos don't get out once a week. In some cases, it's like, every 2 weeks that you might see a Narita Boy video. And I have to wonder, am I progressing too slowly? Do I need to take, like, right now, the old series that I'm importing, from the older days for every second day is Oddworld New and Tasty. I wonder, tell me what you think, I wonder if after New and Tasty is uploaded, I should take a bit of a break from porting on a new series and just allow my newer content to get pumped out, so that way some of these Let's Play series can play a little bit more regularly, or at least something that resembles something more regular. But even with that, do you guys still think there's too much variety? Would you prefer that there's a bit more focus on a particular series? Like, is it better to, I don't know, maybe pick a series that plays 3 times a week? Like maybe you guys really like Narita Boy and you want to see how that game goes. Is it preferable to have 3 Narita Boy videos a week and then maybe a couple days out of the week for variety? Is that a better way to do it? I don't know. Because, I mean, ultimately, while this is supposed to be fun for me, and this is a hobby that I'm indulging in, if there's a way that even just by making small changes that I can present it in a way that's more entertaining for you guys and more enjoyable for you guys, I'm all for that. I'm not necessarily going to go with whatever first suggestion I hear, necessarily. So, if you make a suggestion, I don't take you up on it. Please don't take offense to it. I hope you wouldn't. I hope you wouldn't take it the wrong way or that I think it's a bad idea. It's just that, in part with juggling all the content that I'm trying to juggle, sometimes it's just easier for me to do a certain way. I think I said that clearly enough. I hope I'm making sense when I say that. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about that. I have to wonder if there's too much juggling. But for the year 2021, there's a few games that I would definitely like to get out there. Oh God, am I going to think of them all? Jeez, all that prep and I don't know of which ones they are. I would really like to start a playthrough of Knights of the Old Republic. Oh yes, because it's just one of those games that's just historically good. It's a fucking masterpiece. It's like some people consider it to be like a perfect game, and I can honestly understand why. God damn, that's a good game. And to be clear, I don't mean the remake. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. I'm not doing the remake. Because I'm not sure if you've noticed, but a lot of remakes are shit. Like, what was it, that GTA game where you can, like, it's really unimpressive. We'll just say that. They came out with a remaster. It was super unimpressive. And, like, one of them, you can tell that what they did was they just put, like, add more polygons filter, to round out certain shapes, which, I mean, can be a good starting point. But, like, there was a repair shop that had a lug nut on top of it. And in the remastered version, the lug nut's completely round. And it's just like, oh, fuck, you guys didn't review this shit, did you? But, I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. The worst part of... easily the worst part about some of these remakes is that they're fucking changing shit that didn't need to be changed, removing shit that a lot of people like, or worse yet, most egregious of all, and I'm not trying to get political here, but they inject woke shit into it, and I fucking hate I hate the shit out of that. It's like you're taking a beloved franchise and just fucking ruining it with that shit, man. I can't stand it. It's just like they're trying to ruin shit on purpose. And okay, I'm gonna try not to go on too much of a tangent here, but like basically the people that want to ruin everything and politicize everything, it's actually a deliberate attempt to destroy escapism. It's a really bad thing. So I'm just stepping back and refusing to partake in it. And it's like, you know what? I don't need a remake. I do not need a remake because that other game, that older game with the very dated graphics now, that game's perfect. That doesn't need to change at all. It's perfect as is. And so I'm going to play that. And, maybe I'll just happen to unequip the attire of all the ladies. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I will. That's definitely what I did when I was a young teenager because I was a young teenager. Yeah, I did that. So, I would really like to do a KOTOR playthrough because that game is just so fucking great. An Ocarina of Time playthrough is actually also going to be coming. I haven't aired any of the episodes yet, but I'm really far into it. Like, I'm at the Shadow Temple now. You guys just haven't seen any of it. I'm really far into it. I don't know if the series will be completely played through and before you guys see the first episode, or put it this way: there's so many episodes ahead that I'll definitely get the game finished without there being any interruptions mid-series and having to take a hiatus, like I've done with Breath of the Wild and Fallout 4. Which kind of brings me to another thing that I wanted to talk about in terms of completing games on the channel. I've actually, shockingly, found some extra time to do some little recording sessions. Not big, but like maybe a half hour at a time, maybe even an hour that I can squeeze in on 2 to 3 evenings out of the week, because I can't go too intensely on it because it's gonna take its toll on me, whether I won't be able to find the time to edit the footage, or if I exhaust myself because I end up staying up late by accident because I get carried away, because let's be honest, that happens. Like my new baby Eli, he is actually a pretty decent sleeper. I feel like I got lucky this time. And so, that's how I'm able to make this recording right now. He feeds, at the moment, he feeds every 4 hours, but he sleeps really steadily between those 4 hours. Like, I can comfortably come down and do this video without worrying about him waking up partway through. It's great. So, for certain games, like Ocarina of Time, that is a good avenue for me to be able to get ahead on some of those. Especially because I'm playing Ocarina of Time on the Wii U, and because it's a virtual console game, it has save states on it. It has save state. It has one that you can use. So due to the nature of that, I can just at any given moment save the state, stop the recording, and then when I cut out the footage in between, it's almost perfectly seamless. You don't see any edit at all. There might be like a frame of no audio, and it's extremely brief, but like visually you can't even tell. It's pretty cool. So I might be able to get ahead on certain series, especially if they have save anywhere, any time kind of mechanics to it. So that might also be an opportunity for me to crack out the emulators and start getting ahead on some classics that way, since I can take advantage of save states. Because one of the other games that I'd like to be able to do this in the year 2022 is Super Metroid. Because again, historically good game. It's something I'd like to go through. I had actually started a Let's Play series of it a while back. I got 4 episodes out, but I was playing on an actual cartridge and the battery ran out. In the cartridge, and then I had to replace the battery, and then the port for the controller of the Super Nintendo got fucked, completely fucked. Like you would press the B button, and that would input several other buttons simultaneously. Like it also pushed up at the same time. Like just totally fucked the console, and I'm just like, okay, emulators are looking pretty good, aren't they? So yeah, So yeah, I mean, just having the advantage of being able to just, you know, hit a button on the keyboard and have it save the state, and then I can just come back and resume it at any time without having to, you know, backtrack to wherever I was. You know, I can just... that was a sound that I heard outside. It's really windy. I hope nothing broke. Sorry about that little interruption. Yeah, and then I'm also looking into... I'm probably going to get Metroid Dread this year. I have a feeling that somebody got me that for Christmas, and I'd be stoked if that was the case, because fuck me, that game looks good, and I want to play it bad. Ooh, do I want to play it? I was just trying to think. I feel like there was another game. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I know there's something else that I had on the list. Oh, yes, I would... here it is. I almost forgot. Well, two, actually. I would like to... not necessarily finish, because they're long games, but I would like to resume my playthroughs of Breath of the Wild and Fallout 4. Massive undertaking because they're such huge games. And because they're huge games, I feel like they play better as live streams. So maybe that's how I would end up doing that, and then I would, you know, wait for, you know, keep the games that I can use save states with for whenever I can work in just the short little small sessions. Yeah, I think that's how I'll do that, because it's a way that I can kind of get ahead, and plus it'll also help me build up a stock of episodes so that if I have to take a break for whatever reason, then the channels aren't going to run out of episodes. Oh, I just thought of a few other games that I would like to do in the year 2022. And I mean, okay, I know I'm not going to remember all the games that I want to do. Like, I'm not going to be able to mention them all in this video because I just can't think of them right now. And I don't think it's necessarily realistic that I actually am going to get through them all in 2022. But shoot for the moon. Why not? I've been thinking a lot about older titles that I'd also like to get through. Like, for example, I'd love to go through the Prince of Persia games, like the Sands of Time trilogy. Oh, I have some really, really fond memories of going through those games. Like the first one was just such a cool entry to the franchise because it had the parkour in it, which you know, I hadn't really seen anything like that at the time. Certainly not in the game, and we had never seen also like that rewind feature in games before. So that was really cool. And then the second one was kind of a little bit more brooding, even had a little bit more sex appeal, which is always nice. And there was just that looming threat the whole game of the Dahaka, always that this thing is coming to get you, and there's nothing you can do about it until you find out that there's actually two endings to the game, because there actually is something you can do about that. And that was a particularly fond memory for me, because the first time I played through it, I actually didn't know there was two endings. I thought there really was nothing you could do. So that was a lot of fun. The third one was fun as well, although I mean, maybe when I play through it again, maybe I'll see it differently, but I seem to recall that the third one was kind of the weakest of the three. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the third one's awesome. I can't quite remember now. But I mean, the first two were certainly the most memorable for me, maybe because I played through them more. So yeah, there's those games that I'd like to go through. There's definitely some more like 8-bit and 16-bit retro titles that I'd like to go through. And yeah, in all likelihood, I'll probably be going through Halo Infinite. Early reviews are in, and it seems like it's good. It seems like maybe it doesn't suffer from the same issues that Halo 5 suffered from. And from what I heard is that it's not a perfect game, but it's really good. And I mean, after being on recovery from the debacle that was Halo 5, that sounds just fine. Oh, speaking of Halo, something that I might revive. It's technically already on YouTube, but I might repackage it and bring it to, BitChute and Odyssey and fruitlab and all the other sites. The Hunt the Truth series that was part of kind of like this. It was this audio story that was leading up to Halo 5. Now, unfortunately, it really had no bearing on Halo 5 whatsoever. It was like Halo 5 just kind of, didn't make any reference to it whatsoever. But it was a really good standalone story, and it was the way it was presented. Like, the audio was just so crisp and clear, and it was such a neat way of telling a story. Like, it wasn't an audio book; it was a show that didn't need visuals. And one of my favorite things about the Hunt the Truth series is I'm in it. I actually play an extreme. I mean, it is a very, very brief cameo, but there was one episode where they were asking for fans to basically call in and make like a fake phone call to this to the main character, who's this journalist. And so I put my entry in, and to my surprise, they actually used a clip from my entry like right at the beginning, and you hear you hear this one guy talking to him, and then it in like a voice message, and then it cuts away, and for a second you hear my voice saying, "You are a crusader, my friend," and that was me. That was me. I'm in that series, and I think that was episode 6. It was called Boxing Story, that episode. And so it's cool that in a very loose sort of way, I'm technically part of the Halo universe. And I looked in the credits, and somewhere they had listed my character's name as, I think it was Mugensen Silas or something like that. I'm not sure. But yeah, so I'm in it, and I love the fact that I'm in it. Like, I want everybody to know that. Yeah. Anyway, I won't talk too much more about that, but it's something I'd like to kind of bring back onto the channels, because even if it's not for the sake of leading up to Halo 5, it's just good storytelling. It's just a fun side story that stands all on its own. Might also bring a little bit of Super Mario Bros. X back, because that's a fun game to play, and it's user generated content. It's like well, to be honest, it's kind of like Mario Maker, but it's better. Now, I don't know how to make levels for Super Mario Bros. X, but there's a lot of creativity and technically more freedom, because people can do almost anything they want with it. Like I've played some Super Mario Bros. X levels that had Sonic components to it. Then they've got music ranging from pretty much any of the Mario games. Like some levels have Super Mario 64 music in it. You can also play as Link in some of them. Yeah, and of course it's just, there's a huge community behind it and a staggering amount of content behind it. But so yeah, I might record a few sessions of that every now and then, because it's just a fun game, and it's technically endless. And there's one other video that I'm actually kind of in the works of creating. It's actually going to be a scripted piece of work. It's I'm still not quite sure what I want to call it, but essentially what it's going to be, it's like going to be a retrospective on the game Star Fox Adventures, because it was one of those ones that basically what it is, it's I want to make a video talking about it because it's a game that I really enjoyed when I was younger, but it's not a game that I would want to play through again, because I just don't think I would enjoy it anymore. I certainly would not enjoy playing it to make a Let's Play series. And so I think I'd like to kind of talk a little bit about that. It's like, you know, to just so that way in sort of one video, no idea how long it would be, but I'd be just talking about the game and my experience with it, and the things that I liked about it, because I explicitly won't be doing a playthrough of it, because portions of it have dated very poorly, and there's things about it that I used to be able to tolerate that I simply can't anymore. So yeah, I think that could be an interesting video, and who knows, maybe it might be something that I do for other types of games too, like that I just don't like. I'd like to see, but I wouldn't feel like playing through again. I don't know. I'll think more about that. Oh, and Roa. Oh my God, how could I forget to mention Roa? Yes, of course. Yeah, obviously I'm going to finish Roa when I return to streaming in probably January, because I was trying to beat it before Eli was born, but no luck as it would have it. The last boss was just a little too tough, but that's where I am. I'm close. I'm at the last boss, and I'm going to beat it. And ooh, it would be cool if Sogrin could show up to the stream to see me beat it. He's been showing up to some of the streams where I'm playing his game, and yeah, if he could be there when I beat it, that would be just that much cooler. I think that's all I wanted to say in terms of running the channels, and any suggestions that you guys might have about just kind of release schedule and that kind of thing. Oh, there's one other thing before I move on to some game development stuff. There's the game Blasphemous. I did a complete playthrough of that. But since doing that playthrough, they came out with this DLC that added a bunch of stuff to it, and I'd love to revisit the game. It's got all new cutscenes, it's got all new areas, it's got new bosses, like it's got a ton of new content. I don't know if it would. I mean, it wouldn't equal a sequel or whatever, but I saw a couple of scenes online of stuff that was unfamiliar to me. I was just like, oh shit, oh, I want to play that. The thing is, though, I don't know how exactly I'd want to present that, because that was how many episodes of Blasphemous were there? I think there was about 50 episodes. 50. I think it was in the 50s episodes of Blasphemous, and I think if I was doing a second playthrough, I wouldn't want it to take that long again. Like, I don't know if I'd want the series to run that long, so I feel like, okay, it's a second playthrough, maybe I could, make, really big episodes, like hour-long episodes or 2-hour-long episodes, just to kind of shorten the numbers there for how many episodes there are. But then I wonder if that's a shitty way to present it to you guys. I wonder if people listening to this are thinking, well, I'm not going to sit down for an hour-long video. That's just not, it's not going to happen. In which case, I'd just cut it. I guess I'd have to cut it back to half an hour, the way I've been doing with some of the larger series. I think, but yeah, I think also to make it a bit more interesting, just to kind of make it seem like a really new experience, a new playthrough, I'd switch the language back to Spanish. Have a little Spanish with my Inquisition. And like I've heard some of the Spanish voice acting in the game, and it's beautiful. It sounds awesome. So yeah, I think, and now I know there's other games that I'd like to get started for the year, and I can't think of them right now, but they will come back to me at some point. I don't know what they are. So yeah, I've talked about that for quite a bit now. Fuck, this is going to be a huge video. But yeah, I think what I wanted to end off on was the big thing that I'm focusing on this year, that I'm going to be focusing on a lot for 2022, is is the indie game development. In a previous video, I did an indie game dev vlog, and what I had said is I had basically met my goals. I technically met my development goals for 2021, but I'm still hugely disappointed with myself because I feel like I just didn't find the time to do it. I didn't commit to putting more time into it, and I could have gotten way further. You know, I barely put any time into it, and I met my goal. But I feel like if I really buckled down and, you know, got into it, I could have gotten so much further. And so that's what I want to do with 2022. I want my goal for 2022 is to have a gameplay trailer ready for what I'm calling Project Robot. It's going to be a pretty small game in scope. It's going to be pretty simple, hoping to add a metric fuck ton of charm to it so that people, you know, people will be intrigued with it and they'll want to play it. And, you know, maybe I'll even post some more content in regards to game development. Like, maybe I'll do some, I think they call them speed painting videos, but obviously it wouldn't be paint, it'd be pixel art. Maybe I'll do some speed pixels or something, and you just, you know, have, you know, take some pixel art that took me like 2 hours to develop and fast forward it into a 5-minute little video, put some music to it, that kind of thing. That might be fun. Yeah, I want to put a lot more focus on that this year. And maybe with what I was saying about being able to squeeze in extra time to get certain series complete, maybe that will create such an abundance of videos that I can take necessary breaks from recording and streaming to be able to do that, to be able to dedicate more time to the game development. Because I think what's probably going to happen in the not too distant future, like next year, is maybe I won't be squeezing in recordings every other night for, you know, 20 minutes to an hour or whatever. Maybe I won't be doing that. Maybe instead I'll be using that opportunity to squeeze in time to do game development. Maybe what I need to do is ensure that I can do game development, you know, a minimum of 4 times a week. Sorry, a minimum of 3 times a week. Ideally 4, you know, so that there is just constant progress on it. Because the other thing too is that I know once it reaches a certain point in development, it's going to be like an avalanche. I'm going to get addicted to it. I'm going to be just going so hard in on it that I won't want to do anything else. That'll be a good stage to be at, because if I can have that kind of motivation, then I can be sure that, you know, something is going to come to fruition. My efforts are going to bear fruits. And hell, maybe if I can even make steady progress, you know, in my game development, like if I get more into level building and it's not just me, you know, figuring out how to fix the jump animation for 4 hours straight, you know, so not something kind of boring like that. Maybe I'll do live streams of game development, and you know, and then that could even be just extra content to add to the channels. Like I could just, you know, just dump the whole stream on there. You know, just to get more game development content on the channels too. So, yeah, that was a big video. I'm not quite sure how long it is because I'm cutting out some breaks here and there where I was just stopping to think of what I was going to say. But, oh, that's it. Before I conclude this video, there is one other thing that I was actually thinking about. And that's the intros and outros to my videos. I've been having thoughts on how I may or may not want to make changes to the intros and outros. I'm pretty happy with how they are right now, but I feel like there's another type of change that could serve it a little better. I mean, ideally just kind of making them a bit quicker is kind of the main thing. And, you know, on the one hand, I've got this sort of elaborate idea where, where I have my pixel art guy in the pixel art of me in the intro and outro, that maybe, depending on what game I have, I would you know, actually kind of dress myself up as the character in the game, like give myself Spartan armor but without the helmet, like something like that. And then instead of doing like the singing bit, like the lip sync with the metal music at the end, maybe he would do some kind of animation over a, you know, different music without words. And like maybe if it's the Master Chief, maybe I'm just standing there like screaming while I'm shooting the gun or something. I was considering something like that, but at the same time, I think, you know, if I'm throwing that much effort into video editing and essentially, I guess what I could put as useless pixel art, because it's pixel art development that isn't going to my game development. It's just like, maybe I should save the pixel art for actual game development stuff, you know? So I feel like that's maybe a little bit too much effort, not worth it. It would be cool. It'd be really cool. Or if I played like a, you know, a Mario game, you know, I dress myself up like Mario, and at the end I get like the super angry face, and I just hold this fireball in my hands, and it looks badass. But it's too much. It's too much. What I was thinking of doing is actually a different style of intro and outro that would be less jarring, and it essentially would make it so that if you were playing the videos in a playlist, there would actually be no interruption whatsoever. Like, instead of stopping, presenting an outro, it would be something that's actually like an overlay. And so, like, maybe within the last few seconds of the video, there's like stuff that's overlaying on the screen, and maybe even like a little like pixel art, you know, version of me sort of climbs up from the bottom of the screen, like in the lower corner or something, and, you know, has like little speech bubbles, you know, saying like, thanks for watching, follow me here, all that shit. I think that would be cool and kind of a, you know, a less jarring way to end videos, perhaps. My only qualm with it is then that means that I would be overlaying things on top of the game that could potentially cover up important shit and kind of mess up the scene. So, yeah, if I did something like that, I'm not quite sure how I'd want to structure it. I mean, I could also do the thing where the game itself shrinks so that, you know, nothing is overlaying the game itself, but I kind of fucking hate that, to be honest. I don't know. Yeah, it's just, maybe that's something I won't bother with, because maybe I just can't find the time to do it, but it's something I'm thinking about. So yes, to sum up, hopefully the game development is going to go great in the year 2022. I hope to make lots of progress on lots of games that I want to play for the channels. Some of them I'm really excited about. I hope things go really great in the alttech world. I hope bitchute, really thrives and fixes some of the issues that we've talked about. I hope Odysee really continues to take off and, you know, adds more features that will, you know, ideally help me get noticed a little better. And once again, I'd just like to really thank the creepy night shift guy for that initial shout out there. It was great to hear that. I just really appreciated that. But yeah, he's a funny YouTuber. Go subscribe to him. He's on YouTube now. He's just the creepy night shift guy, all separate words. I mean, I'll put a link in the description, of course. And he had mentioned in his video that he's thinking that maybe he'll try out Odysee because other people were talking about it. But, you know, not really sure. He kind of has to see what kind of hassle that might entail. But yeah, if he ends up making a Odysee account, be sure to subscribe to him on there too. And if you primarily watch me on BitChute, once again, maybe consider subscribing to me on Odysee, just in case. You never know. But yeah, I think this video has probably gone on long enough. But yeah, if you guys have any feedback on some of the things that I was talking about there, I'm certainly open to feedback. Not necessarily going to take you up on it, you know, depending on what it is, but I'd really love to hear it. And if you guys have any other ideas, or if you just have other questions, just anything you want to talk about in the comments, throw it in there. But that is, yeah, that's it for this video. Here's to a new year and to meeting goals and all that good shit. I will see you all in the next video.